Broadcasting from Cincinnati, you're listening to the Ringside Reporter podcast. All the news from the world of boxing right here.
Well, I'm talking to you the way I want to talk to you.
Now, here's your host, Eric Lorda.
And we are live. Welcome to the Ringside Reporter podcast, where we talk about the latest boxing news. If it's related to boxing, we'll talk about it here. My name is Eric Lorta, and I'm here with my co-host, Ringside Robert, and England's adopted son, Joe Habib. We have a great show for you today, and if you want to call in and ask some questions, you can call in right now at 323-870-3857. And we'll be here till about 9 o'clock tonight, and today we are going to talk about the Charlo brothers will be in action on the same card. Everybody's dumping on this card, but I kind of like it, man. I'll have all the details on that. And will Errol Spence Jr. and Mikey Garcia actually happen? We got some info, so stay tuned. But first, we get started with HBO Daniel Jacobs versus Sergiy Derevyanchenko for the IBF Middleweight Title. Danny Jacobs wins a split decision over Sergiy Derevyanchenko by the scores of 115-112 twice and 114-113 for Derevyanchenko. Jacobs knocked Derevyanchenko down in the first round and seemed to control the fight, for me anyway, controlled it overall. Honestly, I may be in the minority, but I thought Jacobs won the fight pretty clearly. I scored at 116-111 for Jacobs. I thought the big difference in this fight was Jacobs' experience, especially going down the stretch. I think you kind of saw that. That being said, I was very impressed with the effort that Derevyanchenko gave in this fight. He definitely deserved to be there. What's next for Jacobs, or rather, who's next for Jacobs? I don't know. He called out Canelo after the fight, so we'll see what happens. I'm not sure that fight is next. But you know what? That could be a big May fight, and that's a unification fight. And if I'm Canelo, I don't know, man. That's a big money fight for you. So, Beeb, talk about Jacobs Derevyanchenko and talk about what's next for Jacobs.
I actually had Derevyanchenko winning the fight ever so slightly. I thought this was a close fight. I thought it was a razor close fight. I thought it was a fight that could have gone either way, 7-5 either way, or 6-6, and Jacobs still would have won if it was 6-6. But I thought Jacobs got off to a pretty good start. First, I gave him the first round, but I thought Derevyanchenko actually went on a little run. Let me see. Let's take a look at my card and just remember the rounds that I gave him. I actually thought he went on a little run after that first round, after getting knocked down. I thought he was applying pressure to Jacobs. I thought Jacobs was circling him, trying to establish distance and range. But a lot of times Jacobs found himself with his back up against the ropes, and not everything was landing flush, but Jacobs was not throwing back when he was up against those ropes. It was mentioned that Jacobs went southpaw, and the reason being was said by Jim Lampley. I think Max Kellerman. I'm not Jim Lampley. Max Kellerman and Roy Jones, or I think Max Kellerman said this. Maybe he wanted to create some distance, make Derevyanchenko have to stretch with the right hand. I disagree. I think he went southpaw to keep that lead hand in front to guard against the left hook, number one, and also have that elbow protecting him to guard against the left hook to the body. Because I thought Derevyanchenko was doing some great body work. I thought Jacobs did some great body work too, but I thought Derevyanchenko, as the fight wore on, he was very successful going to the body too. And you saw Jacobs wince a few times and get a little tired later in this fight and start to slow down just a bit. And they kept mentioning how Derevyanchenko was slowing down, but the guy always breathes out of his mouth like that. That's just his mannerism. That's just how he is. That's just the way he breathes. A lot of fighters breathe out of their mouths. They're not supposed to, but they do. But with that being said, I thought Jacobs landed some good right hands, but the problem was I think Derevyanchenko was coming forward, and he was actually walking through some of Jacobs' punches, took the shots well. Both guys, I think, buzzed each other a few times, but no one was really significantly hurt. We saw Jacobs stunned a little bit with some left hooks. And I know Roy Jones mentioned that Derevyanchenko was kind of sweeping with the left hook, but it's hard to really get a lot of leverage on a left hook, especially if you're reaching up. And Derevyanchenko was giving up a lot of height in this fight. So he would get into that mid-range area and he would have to reach up. And I don't think he really could get as much leverage as he would have liked to really hurt Danny Jacobs seriously, where he could have possibly knocked him down or even taken him out. But I think Jacobs' one vulnerability I'm starting to see is he's very versatile. He can hold his own in the inside a little bit, in the mid-range a little bit, but he's not great on the inside and he's not great in the mid-range. And he seems to get caught with a lot of left hooks in that mid-range area. And I think that that's one spot where a really good fighter could capitalize. And we saw Golovkin, and that's where Golovkin landed the shot that knocked Jacobs down when Jacobs was caught in that mid-range area. He sometimes freezes up a little bit when he's in that area. Doesn't always look comfortable when he's in that mid-range area. He prefers to have the space and the distance. That's where he's most successful. That's where he's able to kind of really get the extension and turn that right hand over the way he wants to. But with that being said, I thought, Derevyanchenko did a lot better than I expected that he would. I thought he took the shots a lot better than he would. And I did not expect him to be able to continue to apply that constant pressure throughout the whole course of this fight, because nothing Jacobs was able to do could really stop this guy from moving forward. So I thought Derevyanchenko did just enough to edge it, but I don't have a problem if someone says that Jacobs won either. Like I said, 7-5, 6-6, either way. But Jacobs, I think, did show an issue here. And I think if Derevyanchenko had a better right hand, because I think Roy Jones mentioned this, that he was a one-handed fighter. And to some degree, you can say that because he did not throw a lot of right hands, does not throw a lot of right hands in general. And when he does throw right hands, it's definitely not his weapon of choice. So if you put a guy like Canelo in there who can punch with both hands and who's really, really effective in the mid-range and who can fight backing up and going forward, as he showed in both Golovkin fights, I thought Jacobs would beat Canelo. After what I saw last night, I'm riding with Canelo. This is the first time I'm actually picking Canelo because I spent a whole career of mine picking against Canelo. I've been considered a Canelo hater. I think I'm going to jump on the bandwagon now. I think I'm going to jump on the bandwagon. I'm going to have my UK flag on one shoulder, and I'm going to put my Mexican flag on the other shoulder. I'm jumping on the bandwagon, man. I really am. So it was a good fight. It's not to say that Danny Jacobs didn't do some good things in there last night, but I thought that he would win the fight pretty clearly, and I believe you think he did, which is, some people think he did too. I mean, you can make an argument. Some people had it 116 to 111 like you too. One of the judges did, and Harold Letterman did. But I think it was a good fight, but I think Derevyanchenko impressed me more last night than Danny Jacobs did. And I think moving forward, I think Danny Jacobs is going to have a tough road ahead of him in this red-hot middleweight division, which is not to say he can't win fights, but I don't think it's going to be easy.
Yeah, I would go along with that. Robert, before you get started, Beeb, it's Robert's birthday today.
Happy birthday to Robbie. Happy birthday to Ringside Robbie.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, dear Robbie. I'm gonna buy you the DAZN with the Chromecast to match.
Chromecast, son.
Oh, okay.
That was beautiful, Beeb.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Birthday boy. It's your time. What'd you think of Jacobs, Derevyanchenko?
I gave it to Daniel Jacobs, but I totally agree with Beeb. I can see him having issues in the future. And, I thought if Canelo and him ever fought, he would give Canelo all kinds of trouble. Nope, I don't think so. I think Canelo will roll right through Daniel Jacobs if he does not improve on what Beeb suggested that he needs to improve on. I gave the fight to Jacobs, but I was not impressed with what I saw. Derevyanchenko either is a better fighter than I thought he was, or Daniel Jacobs took him a little bit too lightly. You know, I think he thought this belt would be a walk in the park, and I think his preparation showed. And he better, if he's going to get fights with Canelo or even a rematch with Triple G, he'd better go back to the gym and work on his weaknesses, because if Derevyanchenko had two hands he could punch well with, Daniel Jacobs would have been in serious trouble last night. I think he's very lucky to walk out of there with the belt. And if it would have wound up a draw, the title still would have remained vacant, because this is for a vacant title. Nobody had it. So keep that in mind. But I don't like his options now going forward, because unless he improves on some things, I don't see him doing very well. I did not like what I saw last night.
And if the fight ends up being super close against the Canelo, you know he's not getting a decision in that fight. No. You know it. Well,
let me ask you a question. Dwayne M in the chat just said, I see why Triple G dropped his belt instead of fighting Derevyanchenko. First of all, I don't know that that's really the case. I don't think the fight could be made, and that's why he fought Martirosyan.
Yeah.
But, you know, so I don't think it was a duck per se. But
no,
when I'm watching Derevyanchenko last night, I think he, you know, I couldn't help but think of that. I mean, with what Dwayne said about Triple G, and I kept thinking about that fight, Triple G and Derevyanchenko. I think Triple G murks Derevyanchenko. I really do. I mean, at that point in time when he took that fight, I think Triple G knocks that guy out. I think just based on his style.
Believe me being a Golovkin supporter, I firmly believe had they been able to put that fight together, he would have taken it. But at the time that they wanted him to make that fight, they didn't have enough money to make that fight possible. That is why it wound up being who it was.
Right. That's
it wasn't enough time to generate the amount of money that both guys actually deserve for the fight. Both guys would have taken short money for a fight that, you know, is pretty high magnitude.
Well, I just got somebody in the chat just said Derevyanchenko beat Triple G in the amateurs. Well, there you go. That's game over. Checkmate. That counts. Said nobody ever. No, I really do. I think Triple G washes Derevyanchenko just because of style. He comes forward. I don't. Robert, what do you think?
My sister beat me up when I was 3. Does that count?
I think that's a loss. Yeah.
Right now, I think I could edge her, but when I was 3, she kicked the shit out of me. Does that count?
Amateurs.
Yeah.
That doesn't count, does it?
No, Eric. I totally agree. And we'll talk about Triple G later. But had that fight taken place, it would have been as one-sided as the DeRozan fight turned out to be. I think. Derevyanchenko is tailor-made for Triple G style. But like I said, Jacobs won. Yes, he's got a belt. So yes, now he's a holder. He's held one middleweight belt. Now he's got another one. But I don't think he's going to get very many rewards out of it, because after what I saw last night, I just don't like his future unless he goes into the gym and works on his weaknesses, because they showed up last night. And credit to Derevyanchenko, because he exposed what they were.
I tell you what,
he lost.
I just see as many times as Jacobs hit him last night, and as flush as Jacobs hit him, couldn't imagine Triple G on the other end of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's what I'm basing.
It's an interesting fight. But maybe Derevyanchenko would have had a lot of problems with Golovkin's jab, because you can say what you want, but Golovkin's jab has really been on point these last couple of fights. Whether or not, you scored the fight for him or not, he's been throwing a real stiff, heavy-handed jab that's been really control. That's been really getting some good results in there. He's snapping guys' heads back. I thought you could clearly see that.
Hey, Beeb, I think your mic went out.
I think we just lost him.
I think we might have, yeah. I think his mic went out.
No more beeps to heard from.
No, I'm back. I'm such an idiot. I kicked my Ethernet cable out of my laptop like an ass.
What are you doing?
I put my foot up and I kicked the Ethernet out.
Well,
technical difficulties. I got to call up Beeb Industries. I got to get this. I got to get this equipment better set up in here for me.
I tell you, this is like public access cable over here. When are we going to get it together? I'm just saying.
PBS, baby.
PBS.
PBS. It's like the zone with the buffering.
That's right. That's right. So what do you guys think next? What's next for Jacobs? Does he fight Canelo next, or he'll take a fight in the interim?
I think
after what I saw last night, he better take a fight in the interim because if he goes straight to Canelo, he loses.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well,
it's a good fight. It's a good fight. I think he has a really good style for Canelo. I think he matches up very good style-wise. I really do.
Who would you pick in that fight?
I tell you what, and I think no matter what happens, I don't think Jacobs is knocking him out. So it goes to a decision, and it's almost impossible. I think he's almost like the new Floyd in the sense that, it's going to be very tough for you to win a decision against Canelo.
After I seen Canelo walk down like take it to Golovkin, even though I thought Golovkin won the second fight, you could still give it to Canelo, and I'm not going to argue. But just being able to employ the style that he employed in that second fight and hold his own and arguably win, well, he did win doing it. Yeah. That just showed another wrinkle to Canelo's game that's going to be a problem for a lot of fighters.
Yeah.
I mean, he looks really strong and powerful at middleweight now.
He really does.
Well, I've got a question, guys. In Canelo's 53 fights, has anybody ever put Canelo on the canvas? I don't think so.
I don't know. I can't remember. I don't believe so, but I don't know.
Michael Cooper asked me in the chat who would be the favorite if Charlo fought Jacobs right now. I'd have to say Jacobs. He'd be a favorite. He'd be the slight favorite.
I would say Jacobs.
Yeah.
I don't know. I might, after what I saw last night, Beeb, I might pick Charlo.
Whoa, you're really selling out on Jacobs, huh, kid?
Wow.
Me and you. If Canelo fights Jacobs, me and you are going to be wearing sombreros in that fight.
He won the fight, but he did not look good doing it.
Wow.
I mean, let's face it, guys. If that fight wasn't in New York, would he have won the decision?
Yeah, I thought he won fairly easy. I'm not easy, but hey, I mean, 8 rounds to 4.
Hey, a lot of people scored it 8-4. Guys, what did you guys have it, man? In the chat, let us know how you scored that fight last night or who you thought won. I'm just curious.
Yeah. But seriously, if the fight would have been in New York, would he have won the decision? I mean, Jacobs
is from New York.
Last night,
Are you saying if the fight was? What are you saying, Robbie? Now?
No, in other words, say if the fight was in Texas or California or
Vegas,
would Jacobs have gotten a decision?
It's a good question. A lot of people like that aggressive. A lot of people like the aggressive come forward style, and we've seen a lot of guys get decisions based on that alone. But recently, judges seem to be going for the guys who move a lot now, the guys who box. The judges are giving the decisions to those types of guys now.
And one thing I didn't like about Roy Jones last night in particular is he kept saying Derevyanchenko was too slow. Really? If he was too slow, then why was it a 7-5 fight? But why wasn't it 9-3?
I don't know. All right, let's talk about Alberto Machado versus Wandale Evans.
Wow.
WBA super featherweight title.
Ohio's own.
Oh, shut up. Yeah, did you see the Bengals today? Huh?
Ohio
Blew out
showed
Tampa
up real
Bay.
well last night, didn't
Blew out Tampa Bay, son. Blew them out. Blew out the number one team in the NFL. That makes us the number one team in the NFL now. How about that? There you go.
Okay.
It was a complete whitewash.
Ohio's own showed up last night and did real well.
Man, he gets to you in the chat just as Bengals are trying. He's always ripping Ohio, man.
Oh,
What's
and
wrong with you,
on
Manny
top
Gatillo?
of that, the
How
Cleveland
dare you?
Cavaliers fired their coach today.
They should have. He
There
was
you
0-6. We don't mess around here. We don't mess around here. It's just like Mexico. We don't mess around in Ohio. You don't win, you're out. That's the way it goes. He said Tampa Bay is also trash.
Yeah, they are. Yes, they are.
That backup quarterback they got, that
Raiders
quarterback,
are trash too.
yeah, they are. I wouldn't even think about that. But
the Red Sox destined to win the World Series, baby.
They're gonna get
B-Town, baby. What do you got to say about that, baby?
Well, I don't know if they'll wrap it up tonight or not because David Price is pitching. I'd rather have Chris Sale.
Gonna fly you down for the parade next week, Robbie.
What happened to? Okay, since we're talking about that, what happened? He pulled that guy after the seventh inning. That guy was pitching strong, and that idiot manager pulled him or something.
It's a new analytics crap. See, we that game would not have went 18 innings had Dave Roberts left his pitcher in and let him pitch at least the eighth inning. But no, they have this new analytics crap, and so he pulls him out after 7. Jackie Bradley hits the home run, and we play 18 innings.
You wore out your entire bullpen in that game.
I mean, the Red Sox got this one sewn up, baby. This is a lock. This is a lock. We got another title in B-Town, baby.
Wasn't this the same as the Yankees? Where the Yankees came back and won?
You'll win the title.
That will never happen in this series. Are you kidding me?
That'll never happen. All right, let's get back to boxing here.
All right.
Let's talk about Machado and Evans. Evans from Ohio. Was he from Cleveland? Was he from Cleveland? I can't remember. Yeah. Cleveland, yeah, Browns country.
Yeah. Showed up, did real well.
Yeah, he had the best seat in the house, didn't show up. Machado looked really good in this fight, man. He won via first round TKO. Evans was knocked down 3 times in the first. I tell you what, he annihilated this guy. I mean, it wasn't even close. But Machado, obviously the first thing that struck you about this guy was a size difference. My gosh. He looked like he was about 2 feet taller than that guy. The other guy looked like a leprechaun next to him.
And Evans, of course, Evans got enough money. He jumped up from 126. That's why.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But, I tell you what, What do you think? I mean, now Machado said after the fight, he didn't mention, everybody was surprised that he didn't mention Gervonta Davis. I wasn't really surprised. I wasn't, how does this guy stack up with the 130-pound division?
Well, I think he does okay, but I didn't like what Roy Jones said about him either. Roy Jones says, I'd like to see him against Lomachenko. Just because you knock somebody out in the first round, you're automatically going to put the guy in against Lomachenko? Hold the phone a bit,
Yeah, I would think so too. Beeb, what were your thoughts on Machado?
Not much to really think. Not much to really think about. He was a fucking left-handed. It was good night, baby. Wish I could give you some type of analytical breakdown on this one.
Crack analysis right there, Beeb.
But I can't.
Sounds like was on crack.
This was like a guy going to a bar and hitting on someone's chick and then turning around and walking into a fucking right hand or a left hand and going to sleep. So this was. It was like me back in the day. When I was in my prime.
When you were in your prime getting knocked out.
When I was in my prime, when I used to play freaking the Xbox.
That looked like one of the first rounds of Mike Tyson's Punch Out, okay?
Yeah, it sure did, didn't it? That was crazy, man. Yeah. All right, so let's talk about Shelly Vincent versus Heather Hardy. The last is a HBO triple header. I got to be honest, I didn't pay much attention to this fight, man, and It is what it is. Heather Hardy wins a unanimous decision over Shelley Vincent by the scores of 97-93 twice and 97-91.
No, it was 99-91.
Oh, was it 99-91?
Yeah.
Like I said, I didn't pay that much attention to it. Robert, did any comments on this fight?
No, the right person won, and I think 7 rounds to 3 makes sense.
Robbie doesn't even want to talk about the female fighters. He just wants to say, he's like, yeah, she won, whatever. Let's move on to the other fights.
Wow.
No.
You are such a pig, dude. You are such a sexist.
No, HBO really showed themselves to be classless here during this fight. Because during one of the rounds, they were running out of things to talk about. They had to bring up the fact that both of these women were rape survivors. I want to know what the hell that
I
has
know.
to do with a boxing match.
You know,
I understand that. And you know what? That's what they said. They said that both at some point were raped or whatever, rape survivors. And then that Vincent on the, you know how like when they give you like the stats or whatever, when she's being introduced and they put the stuff on the board and it says, you know, like keys to victory or something like that, or just like little personal things about him. It said Vincent has been to jail 3 times for assault. Why would you?
What does that have to do with anything?
What does that have to do with anything? Why would you do that to her, man?
What are they going to do? So what are they going to do? Pull up Corey checks on these guys now during the telecast?
I was like, what are you doing?
Been arrested for shoplifting back in 1997 while in middle school. The fuck does that have to do with anything?
Oh, man.
Well, I got my record expunged. No one can go into the Beeb's record.
You got your record expunged.
They really showed themselves to be totally classless. And frankly, after last night's performance, they can't leave soon enough. That was pathetic.
Unreal. Yeah,
I mean, look, if you're gonna cover women's boxing, talk about their boxing. You don't have to talk about the fact that they've been raped or been involved in domestic things or gone to jail. Leave that personal crap out of it. It has nothing to do with their fight.
I agree. All right, let's move ahead here. DAZN, the World Boxing Super Series, Regis Prograis versus Terry Flanagan for the WBC interim super lightweight title. Regis Prograis won a unanimous decision over Turbo Terry Flanagan by the scores of 119-108. He looked terrible that night. 119-108, 118-109, and 117-110. Prograis dropped Flanagan in the 8th with a left hand and just really dominated this fight. This was a really one-sided fight, which, you know, I expected it to be. I didn't expect it to be dominated like that. I expected Prograis to win, not like that. Beeb, what were your thoughts on this?
I was utterly impressed with Regis Prograis. I thought he would win too, and I wasn't sure it was going to be that one-sided. Just like you said, you know, fighting this guy Regis Prograis, if you're an opponent, is like fighting. It's like walking through a landmine, because no matter where you go in that ring, no matter what you do, no matter how you position your hands or position your body, this guy finds a way to touch you. This guy Prograis reminds me of a Pernell Whitaker with a little bit of pop, a little bit more pop, a guy that, you know, can punch a little bit harder than Pernell Whitaker because he's a heavy-handed guy. It's hard to get a read on this guy because, again, he's so quick with his hands. He keeps his jab down by his waist, and I believe BJ Flores mentioned this during the broadcast, and I agree with him wholeheartedly. So he keeps his hand down by his waist. His right hand down by his waist, and his opponent is looking at it, you know, his face and his head and shoulders. So when the jab's coming up, it's coming up from a blind spot, and he's so quick that you can't see it. Normally, when a guy is throwing a jab from his waist, like Tommy Hearns used to throw that flick jab from down by his waist, and a lot of guys couldn't see it because, again, when you're so quick with your hands like that, and you're throwing a punch from a blind spot, it's hard to see that. It's hard to prepare and protect that. And not only that, this guy is so troublesome with that herky-jerky movement, that dipping and ducking and bending at the waist. And every time he throws a punch, he's moving his head off center line. So his head is never in the middle or on center line, in front of his opponent ever. His head is always off to the side, whether he's on defense, offense, whether he's punching, and whether or not he's punching, or whether or not he's in a defensive posture, slipping shots. So this guy is just hard to pin down, and I have to say, he's probably the best feinter in the game right now. This guy will feint anyone out of their socks. Like I say this a lot about certain fighters who I'm very impressed with and who I think are very great fighters. They're able to get a lot out of a little. So this guy will make little subtle movements, a little subtle feint, but they're so quick and they're hard to really time and gauge because they're so quick and instinctive. And he'll throw that left hand, but he'll open it up ever so slightly, just enough to wrap it around the guard, but not wide enough where it comes off as being telegraphed. So Regis Prograis, I think, is a phenomenal fighter. And I think that he's going to win this tournament going away. And the only one regret I have about Regis Prograis is that Terrence Crawford didn't hang around a little bit longer, because I would have loved to have seen him versus Terrence Crawford. This guy is he's the real deal in my opinion. I love this guy's style. This guy has phenomenal skills, in my opinion.
There you go. I think that Prograis is definitely the favorite to win this, man, but I think he's going to have some bumps along the way. I really do.
Josh Taylor fight will be very interesting.
Yeah, I think so, man.
That's probably going to be his toughest test, because Josh Taylor is a beast too. He's a big, strong kid, and it's going to be interesting to see if he can walk through some of those shots of Prograis and make it a rough and tumble, physical, ugly fight that he probably needs to make it, because he's not going to outbox this kid. He's going to have to make it ugly.
Is that who's next for him?
No.
Josh Taylor fights next week, but
yeah, Taylor, the Taylor fight, the guy who Taylor may be next for Ivan Baranchyk, and Ivan Baranchyk versus Anthony Yigit, IBF Junior Welterweight title. Baranchyk wins by TKO in the 8th. The fight was stopped by the doctor as Yigit's eye was swollen shut, and the doctor said he could not continue. This was a nasty injury. This was no regular, just a puffy eye or anything like that. I mean, it did be back me up on this, man. That was
that was one of the worst.
Yeah,
that was one of the worst. I would say it would be a close second to that Vitaly Klitschko eye, that Lennox Lewis. But then again, Chris Algieri's eye against Provodnikov was no joke either. But that was up there. That was definitely in the top 3 or 5.
Yeah.
It was a horrible looking eye.
Yeah, it did not look good. And I had Baranchyk winning that fight.
Baranchyk was manhandling him.
Yeah.
He was just walking through him like, he was really, really walking through him with ease. Baranchyk's a big, strong kid too. He's a very, very good inside fighter. You can beat this guy, but you're going to have to walk through fire to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a tough guy, man.
He's very tough.
All right, so I don't know if you watched the undercard of that or not, but there was a guy on the undercard, Subriel Matias.
Okay.
He faced Fernando David Saucedo, and he looked really good. He's a super lightweight.
Yeah.
He looked very good in that fight. I mean, knocked him out. I think it was the second round. I don't even know that it made it to the second round. I know his corner got up at some point and
yes. He won by disqualification. I do remember
by disqualification.
Yeah.
I guess the ref didn't see it, but the commission saw it and they said no, he's disqualified.
Yeah.
They wanted to stop it and they should have stopped it. I mean, it wasn't.
Whenever you're second guessing yourself like that, but you're up on the ring apron and you're concerned like that, you know it's time to pull the plug.
Yeah, that guy was not going to win that fight.
No, he was not going to win that fight.
I mean, those were, that guy, Mateus, looked good. I mean, that's definitely a prospect we're going to look at.
One thing I don't like about that, though, is so you set a precedent again. So the referee missed it, but someone else caught it and told the referee. So, again, I'm not trying to nitpick here, but what if the referee misses a headbutt or a low blow? Can an official from the outside sit there and say, hey, Because, I mean, unless you're going to use instant replay and you're going to allow other people to have an input on the decision making, then was that right for the referee to make that call when he didn't see it based off of someone else seeing it? And obviously it did happen. It did happen, but he didn't see it. But a lot of things happen in there that we see that the referee doesn't see. So my point is this: you either allow someone else, an official from the outside, to assist the referee in the decision-making process, and you also add instant replay into the mix, or you don't. Do it with everything, not just with a situation like that yesterday. So that's where I kind of got a little bit like what's going on here. The referee didn't see it, so why is he making a call based on something he didn't see?
I wonder if he didn't know the rules, because if you watch that replay and you watch it, it appears that the referee looks over and clearly sees it. Again, I'm not the referee's eye, so I don't.
Oh yeah, I don't remember. I don't know if he saw it or not, but the way it was presented during the broadcast was they said he didn't see it. So I don't know. I don't know. But if you remember, the same thing happened when Mike Tyson fought Peter McNeely. Massachusetts' own, Medfield, Massachusetts' own Peter McNeely.
Yeah, he's a winner, huh?
That was a great performance he put on. But his corner walked up on the ring apron and Tyson won by disqualification.
What did he last? 30 seconds in that fight?
It was a good 30 seconds, though. He came out there like swinging away like a warrior. Give him credit. Give him credit, I mean. Give him credit. Come on, Robbie.
Come on, Robert. Why are you piling on the guy like that?
Please. He's from Massachusetts. He's from Medfield.
Yeah.
A college degree.
He's proud of him.
He's a smart guy.
Why you pile on him like that?
Please. Peter McNeely. Did a Pizza Hut commercial after the fight, please.
That was a very good Pizza Hut commercial, too. Very good.
Got knocked out by a piece of pizza.
Yeah.
How does that happen to you, Robbie?
Yeah, how would you feel?
Yeah.
He's got the nicest things to say about you, too. Unbelievable.
Come on, we're going to probably have him on the show next week, and you're talking like this about him?
You know what? I might just bring him on the show because of that. And then, say you were trashing him for no apparent reason. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. It's his birthday. He thinks he could do anything around here. All right. So
you're picking on the old man of the panel.
Robbie, how old are you now, Robbie? 51?
54?
54?
You don't look a day over 53.
Yep.
That's awesome.
I thought you were 38.
38.
Kidding me?
Well, no, I do look younger than I actually am, but no, I actually turned 54 today.
Look at Robert, man.
There you go. That's all like, show that swag, Robbie.
Show that 54, swag. But I don't actually
know. You let him know what it's all about, Robbie.
Well, hey, Eric, I could FaceTime you and you could see.
Talk that talk, Robbie. Talk that talk.
Talk that talk. You need to get a camera so you can be online. Everybody can see your handsome face.
Yeah.
That was
Robbie, you can even use the smartphone. We can send you a link via Google Hangouts, and we can get you on here on the smartphone. The only reason why I'm saying this is I think it would boost ratings at least 50% if you are on here on cam.
Oh yeah,
I think
at least the man. It would be like pulling back the curtain from the Wizard of Oz, and we could actually have a special unleashing of Ringside Robbie show. That would be like that would go viral. That would go viral, Robbie, in my opinion.
I like this better because now,
Why you have a criminal record or something? You don't want people to see your face?
Ringside Reporter,
He's on the lam.
Are you on any? Are you on any lists that you shouldn't be on?
No.
Okay.
He's on
Making me nervous. Making me nervous.
I fly all the time.
You find out you're Oh, I don't want to go down on that rabbit hole, but go ahead.
No, don't do that.
I won't.
Anyway, let's move on, guys.
All right. All right. On ESPN Plus, Kubrat Pulev versus Huey Fury, the IBF Heavyweight Title Eliminator. Pulev wins a unanimous decision by the scores of 117-111, 118-110, and 115-113. How about this? How about Pulev now becomes the mandatory for Anthony Joshua?
It's a beautiful thing.
Who doesn't want to see that?
Beautiful thing. So when the Wilder fight doesn't happen, there's another opponent AJ has, baby. Yeah.
Yeah, who doesn't want to see that happen,
plotting, AJ.
Doesn't matter. It's on the zone. I don't got to pay for it.
That's right.
It's on the zone.
They juiced you in. Eddie Hearn juiced him in.
Get a discount on the zone.
No, Eddie Hearn should give him the employee discount.
That's right.
He said the employee discount. He said just discount. He didn't give it to you for free.
I was talking to people on the zone. They're going to be offering some nice promos for people like us.
All right. Very good.
That'll be great.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about the upcoming fights. Monday, tomorrow, from Manila in the Philippines on ESPN Plus, Felix Alvarado versus Randy Pedalcorin, 12 rounds for the vacant IBF junior flyweight title. Then on Tuesday, October 30th, Sergiy Baranchyk versus Manny Woods, 8 rounds junior lightweights. This is on 360promotions.us. It'll be streaming. This is Tom Loeffler's, his promotion. So there you go.
Where's that going to be streaming? On a website?
360promotions.us.
So you have to go to the website to watch it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Be on the zone, baby.
They haven't called him yet. What are they going to do?
I'm trying to get my DAZN T-shirt and a DAZN hat, man, but I can't find it anywhere.
Hey, November 3rd, Robert, is that Friday or Saturday?
That's Friday, yes, sir.
All right, Friday from El Paso, Texas.
No, that's Saturday. I'm sorry, Eric. That's a Saturday.
Please, Robbie.
Oh.
You're slipping just because it's your birthday. You can't make mistakes just your birthday. Get focused, kid. Focus.
Get some ginseng.
Yeah.
Get some ginseng biloba or whatever they call it.
Ginkgo biloba.
Ginkgo biloba. That's it.
It's part of the Beeb stack. That's part of the Beeb stack.
Saturday.
The Beeb stack. Is that what you said?
Anyway, it's Saturday.
Little ginseng, little ginkgo biloba, little tribulus testes, whatever the hell that is.
Horny goat weed and the whole thing.
Yeah, man.
He said, Robert said you need the blue pill. That's cold-blooded, man. All right. November 3rd, Saturday, from El Paso, Texas, on ESPN Plus, Miguel Berchelt versus Mickey Roman, 12 rounds for Berchelt's WBC junior lightweight title. Miguel Mariaga versus Jose Estrella, 10 rounds featherweights. And Saul Rodriguez versus Claudio Tapia, 10 rounds lightweights. Now, also on Saturday, from Glasgow, Scotland, on DAZN, Josh Taylor versus Ryan Martin, 12 rounds, junior welterweights, the World Boxing Super Series quarterfinals. That's going to be a good fight.
That's a good fight right there, man.
We're putting
on great fights, man.
Yeah, they are. Ryan Burnett versus Nonito Donaire on the undercard, 12 rounds for Burnett's WBA bantamweight title. The World Boxing Super Series quarterfinals also. Victor Postal on that undercard versus Sayer Ozgul, 10 rounds, junior welterweights. Not bad, not bad. On Facebook Watch the same night, Sullivan Barrera versus Shawnee Monahan, 10 rounds, light heavyweights.
Oh, that's gonna be a
not bad. I don't hate it.
It's gonna be a tough one for Monahan, I think.
Oh, for sure. Dennis Doglin, also on that undercard versus Saul Roman, 10 rounds, super middleweights. Main Events put out this big presser that they're all like going nuts over Dennis Doglin.
For what?
I guess they signed him. They signed him or whatever.
For what?
Yeah.
Why would they be going nuts? No disrespect to him, but why would they be going nuts?
Because they don't have anybody else. Who do they got? I mean, who else they got?
What's so funny? That's another thing. Like, where are they going to go for fights now that they don't have the HBO?
Facebook Watch. That's where they're going.
Wow. How the mighty have fallen.
Oh, wow.
Well, congratulations to Kathy. She's doing a wonderful job.
Wow.
Whoa, Robbie.
Oh, man. Just piling on the ladies today.
Come on.
Just piling on the ladies.
That's Kathy Duvey you're talking about there.
Her
husband used to promote Evander Holyfield, Robbie.
She was big time back before electricity.
I understand that.
Meldrick Taylor, Pernell Whitaker, Vinny Pazienza. The list goes on and on, Robbie.
Yes. Hall of Famer, baby. Paz.
Yeah.
He's not a Hall of Famer. Should be a Hall of Famer. So there you go. All right. Let's get to the news and rumors, and then we'll get to the phones. This is a big one, man. Al Heyman. Actually, Bob Arum calls Al Heyman a cancer. In an interview this week with Steve Kim, Bob Arum referred to Al Heyman as a cancer and stated that he will be the stumbling block between Spence and Crawford. This is a rather venomous statement by Arum. I mean, is it warranted? I mean, this is a very, I mean, to call somebody.
That's a strong statement. Imagine going to your doctor one day, getting a physical. Sorry, son, you're not going to make it.
Yeah, that's a very strong thing to say.
What do I got, Doc? You got Al Heyman cancer.
I think he's doing this on purpose because he want to negotiate with Heyman.
Got Al Heymanitis. Not going to make it, son.
You know, it sounds kind of odd. I mean, it's really an out of line comment.
No, that's over the top.
Yeah, I mean, but
that's over the top.
Like, where does this come from? I mean, you know, Tyson Fury was on Joe Rogan's podcast this week. If you didn't hear that podcast, go download it. It's a really good one.
Did you enjoy it, Eric? I thought it was great.
I thought it was awesome. Yeah, I love Tyson Fury.
Yeah, I love Tyson Fury.
He said when they asked him about, you know, was there any problem with negotiations? Because Rogan asked him, was there any problems with negotiations? Fury said that there was no problems with negotiations, and Wilder's people were very easy to deal with. He said, whatever I asked for, I got, and whatever he asked for, we gave him. Dana White, incidentally, said the same thing with the McGregor-Floyd fight. He said they were one of the easiest negotiations he had ever been involved in.
I'll tell you why. Because you know, when you can nail down the net, I think the network is the biggest hurdle, because Tyson Fury is going to be on Showtime pay-per-view. McGregor was on Showtime pay-per-view. Now, the problem here is I don't think Al doesn't necessarily want to work with Arum and doesn't want to work with Arum fighters, but he wants to put it on the platform that he wants to put it on. So that's where I think the hurdle lies. So if Bob wants to make concessions, is Bob's saying he is very hell bent on the fight being on ESPN, and I'm sure Al's very hell bent on having the fight on Showtime. So I think Bob made a great suggestion. You know, we can have one of the mega fights on Showtime. We can mix and match, and we can trade back and forth here. So has that approach even really been tried yet? You know, like as a show of good faith, what Arum should do is say, okay, we'll put Crawford and Spence on Showtime, and then the next fight that we put together, you know, we'll have it on ESPN. Let's at least, you know, make that initial show of good faith if you really want to have some of these fights put on, in my opinion.
Why does he hate Heyman so much? I don't really get this. I don't, you know. I mean, Crawford has nowhere to go.
Well, the thing is this: Bob's had problems with many people in the past, but whenever a big fight needed to get made, he was always able to do it. And he's worked with King on many successful promotions. He's worked with Oscar De La Hoya on many successful promotions. He's worked with Matchroom Sport successfully. But the thing is whenever he sits down with Heyman, I think Heyman doesn't want to take, or Heyman fighters or the Heyman management team, I think both sides don't want to take a back seat to the other. Okay, so I think Bob, because he's been in the game so long, he's used to being in control. And I think when you sit down with Al Heyman or an Al Heyman fighter, you're not going to be allowed to be in control. That's why this Wilder Joshua fight is so hard to put together right now, because this isn't about one guy being afraid of the other guy. This is about control. This is about one team not willing to bow down to another team. And it's a battle of egos. And when these two guys sit down together, Heyman and Arum, even during the Floyd Pacquiao negotiations, you heard Leonard Ellerbe complain, like it's not about you, Bob. Bob, you're not running this. That those were things that were said and were publicized throughout the promotion. And I think that's the problem. I think Bob wants to be the man. And I understand where he's coming from, because he's been doing this an awful long time. And he's been very successful at it. And he definitely has longevity in boxing. But I don't think Heyman sees it that way. He doesn't care.
Look, this is something to consider. Bob is 86 years old. Is it time for him to step aside and let Todd DeBuff?
Oh my, that's age discrimination, Robbie. You can't do that.
Otherwise, some of these fights may not get made.
But that's age discrimination, Robbie.
But doesn't Todd DeBuff, it's been pretty well documented by Arum himself, as saying that he was the one that created the ESPN Plus deal, the deal on ESPN, the streaming, the live events, and everything like that.
Bob's been so successful over the years because he's never been afraid to allow other people to make the decisions in his operation. He's been able to delegate successfully. He's the only guy that's actually transcended into the later years of the sport, because he realizes that he's not a tech guy. He doesn't understand everything about this era when it comes to social media. And that's where, as you said, Eric, Todd DeBuff comes in. He's that guy that handles that stuff that Bob doesn't really have a lot of experience or knowledge handling. And Bob's always had great matchmakers around him, like Bruce Trampler as well. So Bob has never been the guy to shy away from letting other people have input in his operation. And that's why I think he's been able to succeed so well.
There you go. Tommy Boxeo just sent me a tweet here from it's a like a retweet from Ali Abdulaziz, and that's Khabib Nurmagomedov's manager, his MMA manager. And the tweet just says, "We will blow your mind with some big news coming at Team Khabib."
I hope it's not what I think it is.
Speculation, and that's what Tommy Boxeo said. Mayweather could be possibly, question mark or whatever. I hope not.
I really hope not.
Maybe it's just Khabib and Tony, or maybe Khabib GSP or something like that. Because I know GSP had said he wanted to face him. Come on, man. Say it ain't so. Robert.
No, the only reason why I brought that up, guys, is because I wonder if Bob is going to interfere with some of these fights getting made.
Well, to your point, Robbie, it seems like they just don't like Bob Arum. Like even when the whole Pacquiao fight was being negotiated, Floyd dealt they dealt a lot with Todd DeBuff. They didn't even want to deal with Bob. They had to pull Bob out of it, and they had to sit down with Todd. So, and Bob even said, "Yeah, they're dealing with Todd right now," because Bob didn't want to he didn't want to deal with the bullshit. So
maybe Todd should take more of a heavier role here.
Well,
otherwise this Spence Crawford fight not get made in the future.
Yeah. I mean, that's the fight everybody wants to see. I mean, they put everything aside to make the Mayweather Pac fight. I don't understand why they can't do the same here.
One of the reasons why it finally got made is Les Moonves, the former president of CBS Sports, had to get involved. Otherwise, that fight might have fell through.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. Speaking of Errol Spence and big fights with Errol Spence, Mikey Garcia versus Errol Spence. The fight is rumored to be very close to being done.
That's insane.
That's right. The fight is rumored to take place in February of 2019. Apparently, this fight is very close to being signed.
Let me ask you this. Does Mikey Garcia have any chance of beating Errol Spence?
No.
Slim and none, and Slim just left town.
Is it possible? Can anyone out there make a case for Mikey Garcia?
Nope.
Because the Beeb wants to actually believe. The Beeb wants to believe. Give me a ray of hope here. Will this be a one-sided fight?
There is none.
Because I'm going to buy it anyways, because I'm the sickest thing that you have ever seen in front of a camera. So I buy everything.
I think it's going to be a decent fight. But I think Spence might even put him away.
Are you telling me that Spence? Wait a minute. Are you telling me Spence Garcia would be pay-per-view?
Yeah.
It is pay-per-view, Robbie. It's going to be pay-per-view. Are you buying it?
Pay-per-view.
Are you buying it? You got to buy something. You're not buying the DAZN. You're not buying the Chromecast. You got to buy something, Robbie. Come on. It's your birthday. We gave you got a lot of good birthday money today. You better be buying something, Robbie.
You got a cord for $12?
Yes, sir.
Steve, I'll tell you what I'm buying. December 1st. That's what I'm buying.
Ah, there you go.
Robbie, that's a very good comeback. You put me right in my place with that one.
Wow. Sat Beeb down.
I have nothing. I have no response to that one, Robbie. The undercard's gonna suck though, Robbie. I'm not happy about the undercard.
Manny Gatillo said he's picking Garcia over Spence.
Okay, Manny.
All right, you and Beeb.
I don't think he's got a snowball's chance.
Yeah, I can't see him winning.
No,
I can't see him winning.
Spence is too big. Spence is going to be way too big for him.
Yeah, I just can't see it happening.
I think he's going to be way too big for him.
It's going to be a tough one.
First career loss. Well, he's going to get it.
Reese Mack hit the nail on the head. Spence versus Mikey makes me think of Terry Norris versus Meldrick Taylor.
Wow, Reese, that's a good Reese. Yeah. That's right. That's spot on, Reese.
Yeah, I think so too.
That's spot on.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Spence is too big, too strong.
That's an easy payday for Spence. Oh my God!
You just disrespected him. Also, too, it was announced this week that the twin Charlos, would be fighting on the same card in Brooklyn on December 22nd. Jermall Charlo will be facing Willie Monroe Jr. and Jermell Charlo will face Tony Harrison. I'm not excited about the Charlo Harrison fight, but I really like the Charlo Monroe fight. I like Charlo and Willie Monroe Jr. Everyone was really dumping on that fight on social media, man. But yeah. I like it, man. What am I missing? Is that not a good fight?
You know why I like it? Because I look at what Willie Monroe did against Billy Joe Saunders. I had Billy Joe Saunders winning the fight 115, 113. I thought Willie Monroe put on an excellent performance. He finished that fight very strong. But then when you look at how Jamal and Jermell looked against Austin Trout, and then you sit there and say another slick southpaw like Willie Monroe, who's bigger than Austin Trout, and probably at this stage is got a little bit more left, not a little bit more, but probably more in the tank than an Austin Trout. So if that version of Austin Trout can give Jamal Charlo such a tough fight, then this style could present problems for him. It's another slick, bigger version of Austin Trout, another slick southpaw, another guy who can box very well. So I'm interested in the fight. I think Harrison gets blown out of the water with all due respect to him. Yeah. But I think this fight can be very interesting.
Well, and I think I'm tapping Charlo to win over Willie Monroe Jr., but I want to see how he wins. Does he blow Willie Monroe Jr. out? Does he take him the distance? Does he have trouble? Is there spots where he has trouble with this guy who's such a slick boxer?
Well,
that's what I'm wondering. I want to see how he handles this fight.
Here's where you may be able to apply that combat math, because you have another similar style to Trout, and we saw what happened when he fought Trout. Well, this similar style from a guy who may be a little bit more advanced at this stage of his career than Trout is, will that factor in, and will that make for another tough fight, or even tougher fight than the Trout fight was?
Yeah, so, I mean, that's possible.
Yeah.
That's very possible. All right, let's go to the phones. 805, you're live.
Hey, Nacho.
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's up, Nacho? Hey. Arriba la raza! Orale!
As far as the fight this weekend, Prograis dominated Flanagan last night, which was surprising because I didn't expect him to dominate Flanagan the way he did. I thought Flanagan would be a little bit more competitive, but he pretty much took him apart round by round. And then when he dropped him, that was just pretty much the cherry on top of the sundae, because at that point, Flanagan had no chance to win that fight. And I picked him to be in the final along with Josh Taylor. So far, my prediction's looking like it's gonna be possible. Although I am a little nervous about Ryan Martin fighting Josh Taylor, because Ryan Martin is kind of the dark horse in this whole thing, and he could upset the apple cart next week. So we'll see how that goes. As far as the other fight, I gotta give Yigit a lot of credit. The kid showed a lot of toughness and a huge heart, but the doctor did the right thing. There's no way they should have let him continue with that gruesome eye that he had. There was absolutely no way he was gonna win that fight, and Baranchyk was just gonna keep teeing off on that eye. So I think it was a really good stoppage. Baranchyk looked really good, but he still kind of needs. I still think he needs work because he's gotten better under Pedro Diaz, but you can still see that he's still kind of raw. So it'll be interesting to see how much sharper they can get him for the next fight coming up against Relic in the semis. It'll be interesting to see how much sharper he'll look in that fight. He's looked better over the last few fights with Diaz, but I'm interested to see if he's going to be able to look better than he did against Yigit yesterday when he fights Karalik. As far as I heard you guys talking about it, Subriel Matias. There's been a lot of hype behind him. A lot of people think that he's going to be like the next really great Puerto Rican boxer coming up. Salcedo, to me, yeah, the guy's a veteran and everything, but he's a 130-pounder. He was pretty much there as a showcase fight, and you saw it right away. Matias looked huge compared to Salcedo. It was like a junior middleweight against a lightweight in that ring last night. And every time he hit Salcedo was hurt and basically wincing the entire time. But that was a really strange ending in that the ref didn't see his guy from the corner jump up onto the ring mat and try to wave off the fight. But yet at the end of the round, in between the first and the second round, I guess somebody must have told him and they decided to waive off the fight after all. Like, that was kind of a strange ending, but I think it was only a matter of time. I think Matias would have blown out Salcedo in that round, in the second round anyway. So I think the kid has talent, and he looks like he's going to be, a legit prospect, but hopefully they can put him in there against another, somebody a little bit closer to actual junior welterweight, because that fight last night, Salcedo had no business being in the ring with him. He's a junior lightweight fighting this guy, and you could just see the difference between the two. But it'll be interesting to see who they put him in there against next. But it looks like they're moving him pretty quickly because he's fought a lot of named guys already. He's fought Prescott, Bradis Prescott, and he already fought Adrian Estrada and Jeffrey Fontanez. So they're not taking the slow route with this kid. I think they're going to try to give him a title shot sooner rather than later, the way they're moving him. The other card with Jacobs and Derevyanchenko, I had Jacobs winning that fight, but I kind of had to agree with Robbie. Jacobs was way bigger and stronger than Derevyanchenko, and yet Derevyanchenko still was able to hurt him and touch him throughout the fight. And I just don't like the way Jacobs reacts to punches. And I just think that if he fights someone who's closer to his size, whether it's Canelo or, a Charlo or Golovkin, I think they're going to hurt him and they're going to stop him because he just does not take a punch very well anymore at this point. He seems like every time he gets hit, he's completely off balance and he gets rocked and he just doesn't, take a shot very well anymore. I give him credit for winning the fight last night, but I kind of agree with Robbie. Like, I don't see the Canelo fight happening next for him. So it'll be interesting to see who they bring up as far as another opponent for Jacobs, considering that right now, other than Andrade and Canelo, there's really no other named welterweights on the zone roster. Yeah, or middleweight. So,
well, you know what? You could give Jacobs David Lemieux. How about that?
What if Jacobs and Andrade have a unification bout?
I'm not sure that fight really provides a test, Robbie, because
no, it may not provide a test, but you could eliminate that name from the roster, and if Jacobs makes David Lemieux look bad, or vice versa, if David Lemieux makes Jacobs looked bad, then that could be another stepping stone to a Canelo fight, because remember, we all thought before Canelo decided to fight Fielding that Lemieux was going to be next. Well, if you're David Lemieux and you want to prove that you belong with the Canelo, then go after Jacobs' title.
Yeah, I was also thinking Saunders. If Saunders decides that he wants to chase a different title,
well, we don't know what his status is going to be because of all the testing mess. So you can't even consider Billy Joe until that's cleared up.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, Lemieux probably might be the most logical name out there as far as a top 10 guy. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
I mean, really, that's other than Charlo, Lemieux is the only one I could really think of. Do I really want to see that? Probably not. But that's really the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, that's pretty much the only. Those are pretty much the only two guys in the top 10 that I think are available. Like I said, unless you consider Saunders, but like you said, until they resolve his situation with the whole failed test, we don't know.
We don't even know what Billy's status is at this point.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. And then the other fight with Machado. Machado looked good, blowing out Evans. I honestly thought that the ref did a horrible job. I thought after the second knockdown, I thought Evans was already done.
I thought he should have stopped it after the second.
Yeah,
it was mentioned. It was mentioned by a lot of people. Yeah,
he let him continue.
Yeah,
and you saw what happened when he let him continue. The poor kid ended up getting blown out and getting laid out on the canvas. I totally disagree with Roy Jones. I don't understand where by him blowing out Yandel Evans, that makes him a candidate for Lomachenko.
No, that's putting the cart before the horse. I don't know what.
Yeah, he ain't beating Lomachenko.
The kid is good, but he's not ready for a guy like that. I like the suggestion that he made, which was Francisco Vargas.
That's a
good fight.
That fight makes sense.
Yeah,
it's a good fight.
I think that fight between Machado and Vargas makes a whole lot of sense.
Yeah,
because those two guys are two big 130-pounders, so it would definitely be interesting to see those two guys go at it. I think that's the more logical fight, for sure.
I don't hate that fight.
The kid. I heard you guys say something about why didn't he call out Gervonta Davis? I don't blame him for not calling him out, because at this point, when the hell is Gervonta Davis going to get another fight? He's a lot more active on social media than he is in the ring. At this point. So,
well, his promoter keeps talking about fighting MMA fighters instead of promoting his fighters. So.
Another possibility for Jacobs is, of course, going after Andre.
That's what I think. That may be the next fight, and then you'll have two belts for two belts. That makes more sense.
Yeah.
You'll have Canelo with his two belts, and you'll have either Andre or Jacobs with their two belts. That would be great.
Yeah. And see whoever wins that fight between Andre and Jacobs, then they would be the next in line to get the big payday with Canelo.
But knowing Eddie Hearn, he'll probably have them each fight, an optional defense, just so he can milk it a little bit.
I was gonna say, yeah.
That's what he always does.
Paper defenses.
Yeah. Couple optional defenses.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't see a unification coming.
Andre will fight like Selesky or something, and then Jacobs will end up fighting someone like Lemieux, and that's who it'll be.
Yeah. So no, the three names that we mentioned, those are the three possibilities for Jacobs.
Yeah, for sure. And then for the fights this weekend, I like Taylor to beat Martin. Although that you can make that a pick'em fight, in my opinion, because I like Ryan Martin a lot. I think he's a really good fighter.
Yeah, he's good.
Very interesting to see how that fight turns out. But Taylor does have home canvas advantage, being that the fight is in Scotland. So maybe he doesn't walk away with a decision. He'd have to probably stop Taylor in order to get the win. And then and then the Sullivan, Barrera, Shawnee Monahan. I don't believe in Johnny Monahan one bit. I think he's a strong fighter who's been built up.
I think
I think Barrera stops him probably in about 6, maybe 7.
Barrera's gonna hurt him.
And,
Yeah.
He's gonna get hurt in that fight.
Yeah, he sure is.
And
hey,
then,
if Marcus Brown can hurt you in 2 rounds, I think Barrera can do.
Barrera can fight, man.
Yeah. And then the other fight with the one I really want to see is the Baranchyk-Roman fight.
That's a good one.
I think that's going to be probably the best fight of the weekend. But I'm going with Baranchyk. I think he's got a lot more left in the tank. I think Roman has been in too many wars, and I think Baranchyk going to find a way to get him out of there. I say he probably stops him in about 8.
That's it.
Yeah. So that's all I got, guys.
Okay,
All right,
see ya.
man.
Good call.
Good job, Nacho.
There.
See ya.
He does a good job of breaking down fights, man. That's for sure.
I like him. He should have his own show, this kid.
No, he does.
Yeah.
When I go on vacation, maybe I'll give him my slot when I take my 2-week vacation.
You don't get any vacation on this show. What are you talking about?
Oh shit!
I know.
I thought that was in my benefits package.
Come on.
Please.
No, not in your benefit package. All right. This is for Kareem in the chat. Kareem had said that we had missed a fight, and we talked about the big cheese. And what he's referring to is Ted Cheeseman.
Ted Cheeseman, baby.
Ted Cheeseman beat Asimia Beifeld to win the vacant British title by the scores of 117-110 and 117-111 twice. It was said that Ted Cheeseman was relentless. I mean, just put a really high pace on him in that fight, and ended up winning the fight. Now, Kareem says that Cheeseman could beat Charlo at 154. I got to be honest, man, because I've seen Cheeseman fight before. I would kind of pump the brakes on that one.
Yeah.
I don't know that Cheeseman would have enough to beat Charlo at this point. Beeb, what are your thoughts?
I would say no, not at this stage, no.
Yeah.
A little too early for that.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely needs more seasoning and stuff like that. He does put on a blistering pace, but again, he's coming forward. That's right in Charlo's wheelhouse. He's got, I don't know, man. That's a tough fight for him. Not saying it can't be done, but I'm saying it's,
Not impossible, but improbable.
It's not, but
it's improbable. Very improbable.
Definitely improbable. Definitely improbable.
Well, Eric, in the 140-pound tournament that Prograis in, who does he get next?
You know what? I don't know. That's the one thing I was trying to wait.
We got to wait for the winner of next week's fights before we figure
Josh
that out.
Taylor. Yeah, Josh Taylor, and I can't remember who he's fighting, but the winner goes to Ivan Baranchyk. So let me see if I can figure this out.
He's fighting Ryan Martin.
Yeah, the winner gets Baranchyk in that one. So let's see if we can figure this out here. So
take a look at the brackets here.
Yeah.
Pretty cool how they make it so.
Do you have the brackets up, Beeb?
I don't. I'd have to.
Because I'm interested to know who Prograis gets next.
But it's pretty cool how they map it out so the two best fighters have a shot at fighting each other at the end. I like that.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. But their website isn't that great.
Mm.
Their website isn't that good at all. Because a lot of times it's just not updated and it's not
right.
All right, let me see if I can find this here. All right.
Because the way you guys are talking, he dominated a former champion. Okay.
Oh, he dominated him very much so. Wasn't?
Yeah, he sure did.
He beat him. He probably lost one round.
Prograis is going to fight Kiro Relic, and that's going to be a decent fight too. That's an
awesome fight.
Yeah,
well,
and then
I like Relic, but Prograis is going to walk all over him.
Probably.
And Josh Taylor will fight Josh Taylor, Ryan Martin winner will fight Ivan Baranchyk.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's looking like
it's gonna be a unification.
Yeah.
Which is great.
So, let's see here on the quarterfinal on the bantamweight. Zolani Tete won, so he advances. He will face the winner of Ryan Burnett and Nonito Donaire.
Oh wow.
Naoya Inoue advanced obviously, and he will face Emmanuel Rodriguez.
Wow, that's a good one.
To see that fight.
That's a good one.
I know. I've seen both those guys fight. That's going to be a war. As far as Nonito Donaire, he loses. He loses next week.
Yeah, he loses badly next week.
Yeah.
That's a shame.
Against Ryan Burnett?
Time for him to go, guys.
Wow.
Time for him to go.
So you think he loses that bad?
I think he loses that.
Yeah.
Wow.
His buy-sell date is past.
Man, yeah, he's past. I mean, he's past due for sure. I don't see anybody other than
stick a fork in him. He's done.
So what do you think? I mean, all right. So Ryan Burnett and so you get like Ryan Burnett and Zolani Tete. Who do you like in that? I mean, if Burnett gets past Donaire, which we suspect he will, who do you like in that instance?
Who do I like? Who do I like?
Give that some thought.
Yeah,
that's a tough one. Because I mean, all four, the Naoya Inoue and Emmanuel Rodriguez, that's another one I don't know. That's another one. It's just really.
Well,
I like Inoue. I like Inoue in that. I like Inoue in that
I said
one.
last week, and you guys disagreed with me.
Sure.
I think Rodriguez will show us if the monster is really the monster.
I still like Inoue over him, though. To be honest.
Yeah. No, I think Inoue will probably win, but maybe he can bring out some things that we've never seen in him.
Yeah. Yeah, it could be. All right. Beeb, it's time. Lanes?
Chugga, 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 choo, choo.
All right, there you go.
All right.
Look at that. Angelic voice of my daughter Elena. All right, train wreck of the week this week comes courtesy of Tommy Boxeo. He's the one that sent me the article. Fresno Kendo turns down $500,000. Fresno Kendo, let me just break this down.
A million or a half? Was it a million or a half million?
I read $500,000.
Okay.
I read 500,000 was
okay.
Agreed upon.
Okay.
You know.
All right.
So Fresno Kendo is 45 years old. Beeb, 45. All right. He has a shot at the regular WBA title against Jarrell Big Baby Miller. He turned it down because he didn't think there was enough time for VADA to properly implement their testing procedure for the fight that would have taken place on November 17th.
Oh, that's a red flag.
Now, you know,
that's a red flag,
right?
Let me go to GNC, get my detox tea first before I sign this fight, and let me be on it for a week before I start my testing.
Yeah, I said 500,000.
Yeah, correct.
Nacho in the chat just said it was 500. Yeah,
yeah. You said 500,000.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong here, Eric. Didn't Fresno Kendo fail a test? That's why his last fight got canceled.
Was it, or was it Briggs that failed?
Briggs failed, Robbie.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Not so sure. Not so sure if Kendo failed the test yet.
But he said
I said yet. I said yet. That can't say that.
He says that there wasn't enough time for VADA to properly implement the testing procedure. Now, if you think about it, November 17th, I get where he's coming from, but all they got to do is drug test him, right?
How does he know what they have enough time to do? Does he work for them?
Right.
Is he privy to their protocol?
Listen, man, here's the deal. I don't want to sound like a jerk here, but let's take a look at Big Baby Miller. Does he look like he's on any kind of PEDs?
No, he just eats.
Unless they're lacing his Big Macs, I don't know.
Right, unless he's putting on cheeseburgers and eating them, I don't think so.
Unless they're dipping his friggin'
just eats, man.
Fries in friggin' clenbuterol, I don't know.
Aaron Daly, thank you very much in the chat. He wants to know where the permanent co-hosts Jason and Georgie are. We're going to get to one of the co-hosts here in a minute.
I don't know what happened to Jason. What'd you do to him, Eric? You must have really ran him off bad last week. He's not even back this week.
It is what it is, I
missed the kid.
You get smacked around enough, I guess you get the message. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe he put him on a medical suspension after getting TKO too many weeks in a row.
That's right.
Fucking poor bastard.
So he turns down $500,000.
Are you kidding me?
Well, he's an idiot, but he's been.
Robbie said he's an idiot.
I mean, you know.
That's funny.
So here's the question.
Come on, if somebody offered me the money, I'd sign. I would gladly lose for $500,000.
So
Wow.
now he's facing some heavyweight named Dina or something like this. His last name is Dina or something like
And
that.
how much is this for?
Who knows? I guarantee it ain't for $500,000.
Wow.
But I've never heard of the guy at all.
We don't know who the fuck he is. That's right.
So if he was getting he was getting $500,000, how much was Big Baby Millie getting?
Probably $1 million.
Probably.
Wow.
But it doesn't matter. I mean, the guy's 45. Where else at 45 are you going to pick up another payday like this?
No,
It's not like people are lining up to see this guy fight.
No, I agree.
Anyway, time for him to leave.
Wow. Robbie's retiring everybody. Did you notice that?
Wow.
Unreal.
Robbie's pulling the plug on everybody, man.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, Nonino Nenero, Frezakindo.
Yeah, Donaire's got to go, though. He's been in some really tough fights.
Yeah. All right.
From this day, you'll be my new fool.
Georgie.
Hey. What up, George?
Happening, people?
What is it? What is it?
Georgie?
I'm just calling to talk to Eric about the 70s red machine. He can tell me something about that.
The 75-76 Reds, the best team in baseball ever. Ever, son.
Oh,
I tell you what, they blow out any Red Sox team.
No.
Because the Red Sox about to choke this one away.
Red Sox are the
They're about to
best.
choke this one away, son.
Never.
Choke artists.
Hey, B.
Never.
Hey,
What
let
up,
me ask you
baby?
guys- hey, let me ask you guys a question real quick.
Yep.
Why wasn't and this is how the this is the class of the Red Sox organization. How come where was Schilling at? How come they didn't they brought all those people back that won that first World Series? They didn't bring Schilling. Without Schilling, they don't win that World Series.
He's probably on vacation somewhere or something.
Yeah, right. What
That's
happened?
Well, it is election season. He might be campaigning for people.
Yeah, right.
He's running from the feds.
He's-
Some investigation.
He's very busy. You don't know this guy's schedule. I mean,
Very
please.
Well,
This guy's got a lot going on,
Classic
man.
organization.
He screwed over the state of Rhode Island pretty
Oh, Robbie,
Yeah,
please.
but you know what? That's not Boston.
It's not Boston.
Rhode Island.
People allegedly.
Yeah, working allegedly. We don't want to get sued.
We can be throwing accusations like that.
Yeah, man. You can't go down that rabbit hole.
Get a hold of the. He's got to get a hold of Don there in Massachusetts, and maybe he can straighten it out.
Yeah.
Whitey Bulger.
Yo, listen.
Yes,
I got a lot of people talking mad shit how Jacob dominated, man. That shit was close.
I think so.
No,
I think that fight was close.
but he did not look good doing it, man.
Listen, the man was touching his rope. I mean, his back was touching the rope too much.
Yep.
Too
Not according to Harold Letterman.
that.
I don't know what fight he was watching.
I don't know, man. I had somebody say like, yeah, Jacob did one, but yo, what's closer? Maybe by a couple of rounds, round two. Even a draw, I wouldn't be mad. Well, yeah, I wouldn't be mad with a draw, yeah. I think Jacobs won, but
Yeah, Jacobs
God
won the
damn,
fight.
that dude, yo, he's a tough dude. Only got 12 fights. 12 fights.
Yep,
I'm
12
right.
fights.
Robbie said he should retire.
Holy shit.
Robbie said Derevyanchenko should retire.
No. I said that about Fred
After 12 fights. Wants to put him in an assisted living.
Wow, Red Sox already up 2-0 in the first inning.
It's a wrap, baby.
Oh, cool.
Let's get the parade scheduled for Thursday. We're ready to go.
You gotta come to terms with that, Eric. Eric, you gotta come to terms with that.
Can't accept it.
Legacy.
Get the duck boats ready, man.
Get the governor on the phone. Let's get the parade scheduled.
See? Silence. Eric is silence now.
He has nothing for it.
No,
He can't come back from that.
The Red Sox. Where was Kurt Schilling at?
There's
Hashtag
only
where's
one Boston Red Sox.
I just gonna ask Beeb one question. Beeb,
Yes.
what Pedro would have done with that gyro of him? He's a 70s machine.
Oh, there you go.
Say
What
that.
if-
What was that?
What if Pedro have done?
He would have done.
Oh,
Would have ran through that team like nothing.
Pedro have done against the 70s machine?
Oh, he
Nothing.
would have.
Same thing he did against the Yankees. Choked. Nothing.
Smoked him, baby.
Come on, son. Pedro,
you realize
nothing against the 90 Reds.
Come on now.
That arm was a weapon. It was a weapon.
Come on, son. He would have got eaten alive.
It was a weapon.
Crazy, Eric. You crazy, bro. But going back to that baseball, to that boxing, brother, that Puerto Rican dude seems to be the next star because
he looked good.
Fucking Verdejo fucking debacle. Who else is there from PR? Nobody, right?
No, you're right. Verdejo decided to be Evel Knievel on a motorcycle, and he blew up his boxing career.
Oh, Robbie.
Look that up, but so I guess that's the next star we got, and the dude ain't playing. They're going out there to really rock. They were going there with that cat. No, he got to go and bang. So he been down. I seen him before. He been down a couple of times, but he get up on some Trinidad shit.
Yep.
So shout out to Puerto Rico for that cat.
Puerto Rico, ha! Puerto Rico.
What happened when the Fury fight? Fury won.
You lost.
He lost.
Yeah, his eye. I guess, what is eye get messed up or something?
No, he lost a decision. Lost a decision.
No, he lost.
Yeah.
I think his eye was messed up or something. I thought he was going to win.
Well,
I picked him before the fight.
To the UK for that L, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, I'm out, people. That's shit to do. See you guys next week. Everybody out there, support the channel.
All right. All right. Thanks for the call.
Georgie.
Thanks for checking in, baby.
Hey, Georgie. Red Sox suck. All right. There you go.
Where's Corey Lee? Haven't seen him in a couple weeks.
Banger.
Corey Lee's boxing.
Banger.
Back with another banger.
All right. Manny Pacquiao joins the PBC officially. This week it was announced officially that Pacquiao had joined the PBC. We had reported on this earlier, but nothing official. But this week became official. The Pac-Bronner fight is apparently close to being finalized for January. So there you go. So, Robert, what do you think of that fight? You like Titletown, huh?
I think Adrian wins.
I do too.
Oh, I think Pacquiao. I think Pacquiao runs through him.
Now,
I think Pacquiao stops him.
Going to be on pay-per-view? I hope not.
I'm not sure.
I wouldn't think so.
I hope not.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so. Manny Gatillo says Pacquiao by KO. Or TKO.
Yeah, Pacquiao stops him.
No, get out of here.
He stops him.
No, I think Adrian
Mikey
wins.
Garcia
I think
couldn't stop him.
Pacquiao
Come on,
done,
son.
Joe.
He stops him.
No, Pacquiao, he ain't got no feet. Can't move.
I mean,
come on. He's like a gazelle.
He's 90 years old.
Do you really want to see Pacquiao beat Broner and then have him fight Floyd again? Really?
Yep.
You know Beeb does.
No, I don't.
Beeb wants to see Floyd, Khabib.
Adrian Broner
Pacquiao.
squeaked by Adrian Granados.
No, he didn't.
Gets-
He beat him sound.
That's what I said. He squeaked by Adrian Granados.
I didn't give Granados one round in that fight.
And then Mikey Garcia takes Adrian Broner to school.
Mm.
And then Jesse Vargas, a guy who Pacquiao knocked down like 6 or 7. No, that was the other guy. A guy that Pacquiao beat handily, knocked him down.
Son, I will take Nacho.
And then
the chat is saying that Manny wins by TKO in 11. Son, let me tell you this. I'm going to tell you this right now. I will put it on the line that Bronner will not get TKO'd in that fight because everybody thinks Pacquiao is going to knock him out. Absolutely no way. No way. No, we'll take that bet in spades, son.
A draw to Jesse Vargas when he lost.
He beat Jesse Vargas.
He lost that fight.
He beat Jesse Vargas, man. Come on, that was a hometown decision.
I don't know what you guys. Have you guys watched like Adrian Broner's last 4 fights?
You seen Pacquiao's last 4 fights?
It looked great.
Against who? Jeff Horn?
It was a fluke.
Who the fuck is Jeff Horn?
Right.
Absolutely.
That was a draw. It should have been a draw.
Made sure of that. But no, seriously, Beeb, you buy all the pay-per-views. Are you going to buy Tiger Woods, Phil Mickelson?
I don't buy golf pay-per-views, Robbie.
You hear that? Yeah, I heard that last night. Blew me away. That Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson are going to have some kind of golf thing or whatever on pay-per-view.
They're going to have a golf thing on pay-per-view.
Oh, that's nuts.
$20. $20.
It's only $20. Are
On
you going to buy that, Robbie?
And the winner walks away with $9 million in cash.
Are you kidding me?
no.
$9 million?
No, we're $9 million.
That's insane. $9 million.
Yeah.
Wow.
They walk away with $9 million in cash. It's going to be on. I guess it's going to be on HBO because HBO is doing a 24/7 on it.
Oh my God. And they're just going to play golf?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fucking. How many? They're going to play 18 holes of golf?
Yeah.
18 holes of golf.
Yep. On pay-per-view.
That's ridiculous.
Fucking nonsense, man.
That's ridiculous.
Come on.
What's next?
Friday, November 20th.
What's the next pay-per-view going to be?
Brother?
Our 200 show. How about
What are they going to have next? A ping pong pay-per-view? Tennis pay-per-view?
Yeah.
Pool pay-per-view? What's next? Shuffleboard?
No, seriously. Pacquiao is he shouldn't be fighting anymore, guys. Really.
Have you guys seen Adrian Broner's last 4 fights?
Son, he won them.
Yes, I have.
He won them.
Did he look good?
All those
Robbie,
fights.
did he look good in his last 4 fights?
Yes.
A guy in Jesse Vargas. Manny Pacquiao beat the crap out of Jesse Vargas, and Adrian Broner lost to him and got a draw.
He beat him.
Okay, everybody in the chat, throw your 2 cents in. Who wins, Pacquiao or Broner?
They're all saying Pacquiao. Everybody's saying Pacquiao in the chat. They're saying he's going to get knocked out.
There's Jason. There's my baby boy. Jason.
Wow.
Yay.
He said his baby boy.
There he is with the 22 ounces.
Incidentally, Lisa just texted me and said, I wish the Reds sucked as bad as the Red Sox. So there you go.
Lisa, please. The parade is scheduled.
Parade. All right.
Da zone, 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 da zone, da zone.
This is what he is. Finally, someone with some senses arrived. Fucking idiot. Fucking Broner, dude. Broner got fucking wobbled by Mikey. He got wobbled by Granados.
Anybody wants action on the fight? I'm here.
Let me finish. Manny's gonna drop his ass like with that fucking sneaky ass left. You know he will. I mean, dude, Manny was hurting Floyd. Manny fucking rocked Floyd too, but Floyd was on his fucking bicycle the whole night. Broner can't move like that because he doesn't have the stamina. He'll be fucking moving for 4 rounds, then he's gonna stand there and fucking hold, and Manny's gonna fucking catch his ass. I'm telling you.
Look, I hate the fight overall, but really, I want to see Pacquiao.
I love the fight, man.
I love the fight.
I like that fight.
Merckx Pacquiao.
Manny Algieri, Manny Vargas, Manny fucking Horn. This is gonna be a better fight.
What Pacquiao did to Vargas, and look at friggin' Broner. Barely friggin' hung on to get a draw, which I thought he lost.
Yeah, Vargas had a lot more experience going into Broner fight, didn't he?
I thought Broner beat Vargas, but I think he's gonna lose to Manny for sure.
Nah,
Look,
Manny.
I'm tired of Pacquiao. He's been around too long. He needs to lose and get out.
Come on, Robbie. The guy's a legend, and you want him to go. He's a legend.
Pacquiao Floyd too? No way.
Beeb.
Robbie, I want to see it bad.
Notice that. Good. Did you notice that Jacobs was kind of non-committal about going to the zone last night? They asked him if you're going to the zone. He said, I'm not sure yet. And then last night in the ring, after he got his belt, Eddie was trying to get a high five. He walked right past Eddie, and Eddie just looked like a fucking.
Oh no! Is he going to go back to PBC? What's going on?
Yeah.
Is he under contract with Eddie? He's got to be, right?
A couple fights though, Eric. A couple fights, it may be over.
It's over.
Yeah.
3-fight deal's over.
Oh no! He's not going back to Eddie. He used Eddie to get a title. He used Eddie.
Wow,
he played Eddie.
And a promoter being used? That's crazy.
Look at Amir. Look at Amir using Eddie. He fought fucking Vargas and fucking Lo Greco, and now he's probably about to fight another bum. He's not going to fight Brook next. I have an idea.
No.
I don't think he's fighting Brook next.
You know, so also Beeb, look at this was like this. They didn't even fill out that arena. It was like a couple hundred empty seats then. It was like a 4,800.
No,
arena.
they're not filling the shows they're doing. They're not selling out. They're definitely not. They're not coming close to selling out. They're not coming close to selling out.
No, the Boston and the fucking Chicago shows had half empty arenas. The fucking Barclays.
And I did a lot of legwork for that Boston show, and I still couldn't get that place filled for them.
and that Matchroom USA staff is mostly run by Rock Nation staff. Can you believe that? He had
Yeah.
hires. Well, he hired a bunch.
Yeah, but you know what his best hires were?
What?
You know the best people he hired? Ak and Barack. I love those guys.
Yeah, baby. Samantha.
I love those. So what do you? I like when they're interviewing the guys. They have their hands. So what do you think you're gonna do to offset his aggression? I love Ak and Barack.
What did you guys think about Aram going off on fucking Aram all of a sudden? Just same week, Manny announces MP Promotions and him are doing a pact with him, but he goes, Heyman's fucking cancer.
Yeah, we went over that, man. Yeah, that was just out of line. I
I know.
thought.
I went to the doctors last week. Diagnosed me. You got Heymanitis, buddy. You're not gonna make it.
What's that, Jason?
It was right on schedule. The week Manny announces he's with Heyman finally after fucking 20 years with Aram. That's the week he goes off. I mean, that was pre-planned. That wasn't like a spur of the moment thing. He pre-planned that.
Yeah,
he said the same exact line in like four interviews.
You know what though? If you're gonna, listen, man. I mean, if you're promoters and they disagree, that's fine. But to go and say something like that, that's really out of line.
That's too bad. That's too much.
That's really out of line.
Like that. Even Eddie doesn't do that. Even Eddie said, "I'm not gonna go behind Mayweather's back and go directly to Tank because he has a promoter." So I gotta respect Eddie for that too. But dude, I've got banned from Twitter like permanently. My fucking IP got banned. Like,
are you kidding?
Yeah, he got banned from Twitter.
What did you do? What did you do?
And his IBF bribery case, and now I can't even get on Twitter, no matter what. I've made like 2 or 3 email accounts, they won't let me in. But they got like retweeted 20 times. I think Carl Moretti or somebody called Twitter and got me banned.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, I was just saying, how are you going to call somebody cancer when you've admitted to bribing IBF officials and been investigated by the FBI for 60 years?
Carl Moretti took legal action against you.
But
oh my god.
He was on Twitter for less than 2 weeks and gets banned.
Kid, you went down in the record books as the shortest Twitter account activation in history. Who gets banned after how many weeks has he been on there? 2 weeks? And he got banned?
The over-under was like 6 weeks for him, and he went the under.
Oh my god. Like after 2 weeks, you got banned.
Yep. Who do you guys think Crawford's fighting next? Is it Yigit or Vesputin?
Oh god.
It's gonna be some no-name. It will. There's no way he's fighting anybody. He can't fight anybody. Everybody's on the other side of the street. Who's he got? He's got nobody.
And that's another reason why Bob is so angry now because he knows.
That's why I think Todd DeBuff is going to have to be involved because otherwise Crawford ain't going to have no fights.
He's already got 40 fucking fights. He doesn't give a shit. Like, he's happy with these charities. He's one of those guys. He doesn't give a fuck. I don't think he cares at all.
He's getting paid. I mean,
top ranked. I guarantee you, the next fight, he'll have a fake fucking confrontation with his next cherry like he did with Benavidez. And top-ranked cameras will be there all of a sudden. Just watch. That's how they're going to set it up. That's all they said Benavidez.
Yeah, but his fights do good ratings on ESPN, though.
Yeah.
Now they do.
I wonder if...
although I want to get rid of Mark Kriegler.
Oh, he's bad, isn't he?
All of them fucking
he's
suck.
really
I
bad.
don't even like Joe Cacciatore. Like, he just started yelling out of nowhere for no fucking reason.
Who don't you like? Joe Tessitore?
Yeah.
Joe
I want Gus Johnson to be on PBC. We need Gus Johnson on PBC's new broadcast.
I love Gus Johnson.
That guy's good.
You'll probably wind up with the Showtime guys.
I got to bring Tarver back. I like Tarver.
I hope not. Oh, we've got a studio show coming. Tim Smith talked about it on the Boxing Wars yesterday. So he's at every 2 studio shows every month, baby.
Oh, really?
What do you think? I think they need some. Yeah, one on Big Fox and one on Fox Sports, like UFC did. Like,
oh, that's great.
You know?
That's awesome.
I know they're gonna be talking about the fighters like lives and setting up the fights and shit. That's kind of cool.
That's very good.
Yeah, that's good.
I like that.
They don't do that for boxing. They do.
No, they don't do that. No,
they don't have a show dedicated.
Maybe not, but I tell you, maybe not. But ESPN does a good job of promoting boxing, especially when they got fights on and everything like that.
I love it when Stephen A. and Teddy go at it. I think it's great.
Yeah, they do it. They do a lot.
Sharp on the Fox show and let him and Brendan Sharp go at it about boxing. That's how you bring the casual in. I'm telling you.
Yeah, Brendan Sharp is so casual though.
He's a goofball.
He is. I can't
like Stephen
stand
A.
him.
Why not? Let's bring him in. He's got a big reach, you know.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure he's the one who told Joe Rogan to get Fury on there. I'm sure that's how they set it up. But did you guys watch that?
No, I'm sure he did not tell Joe Rogan to get Fury on there. Joe Rogan knows boxing.
Yeah, they talk about him all. They've been talking about him for years. Did you watch the show?
Yeah.
Do you like it?
I did. I didn't watch. I watched Joe Rogan, the podcast. I didn't watch Schaub.
Did you like it?
Yeah, I thought it was great.
Yeah, it was a good show.
Fury, he does a great job with fighters, man.
You guys watch it?
No, but now that I know about it, I'll have.
That's in his house, you know. You probably know that already, anyways. It's in his house.
All the clips are on YouTube, but Robbie don't.
That's like in his basement. He does that.
No, he used to be in his house. He's got like a whole building now that he does.
Oh, does he have a building now?
Yeah, it's his own studio, and apparently.
Oh wow, I thought that still was his house.
Gym and pool tables, and it's just like it's like a huge man cave.
So he bought a facility just to do the show in.
Yes.
On her new show?
What's that?
Oh my goodness.
Did you guys see Wilder with Christine Leahy on her new Fox show?
No, not watching that nonsense.
Who is it? Christine who?
Christine Leahy.
Christine Leahy, the chick from Colin Cowherd's show. She's got a new talk show on Fox.
I didn't really care for her on Cowherd.
Yeah, I don't like her that much. I don't like what she did. What she said to
I don't like Cowherd. I think he's
Lorenzo Ball. I don't like how she kind of was like, "Oh, you threatening me just because he said stay in your lane." I don't like that.
Yeah,
that was corny.
Hey, Beeb, you need to watch Wilder's new interview with Christine Leahy. Google it. It's pretty cool.
Oh God, please.
I'm good.
It's one of those daytime. Dude, you guys are always saying Wilder needs to build his profile, and now he's doing an national TV show. I mean, that's how you do it, you know.
Wilder's doing a great job with his. I think he's doing a great job with his profile right now.
I'm just saying, I'm not going to watch the interview.
I'm a huge Wilder fan.
Yeah, just not a big Christine Leahy fan.
Jacobs needs to call Wilder and get some lessons on how to build your profile because Jacobs doesn't know how to do interviews. He's fucking boring as hell. Anytime he does interviews, I fall asleep.
What is he? The fifth most popular athlete in the world? Most marketable? Fifth most marketable on the planet?
Who?
AJ, son.
Oh, he's talking about Jacobs.
Oh, Jacob. Okay, Jacobs. Yeah, Jacobs.
Not even in the top 5.
He'll never forgive Danny Jacobs from leaving the PBZ.
He won't, will he?
Danny Jacobs, and then like next week, Danny Jacobs will be back on the PBC. Like Danny, you know, he's really great. He had a bad stink over there at Matchroom, but he's still great.
Danny's about to get smoked by Charlo. Watch, he's not on the Charlo's level. Jacobs is a fucking hype job to me. He looked shitty last night. He was like slapping with his punches and shit.
Nah, Jacobs looked good last night, man. I thought Jacobs looked good.
He had like fucking deer legs and shit. He missed leg day and shit. I don't know. He needs to work out better.
He missed leg day.
Messed up. He's like pumped full of snack steroids by Victor Conte, but he misses leg day. And once Canelo or Jacobs lands on Jacobs, it's gonna be night. I'm telling you.
Yeah, Canelo beats him.
His chin is not built for that.
I think Canelo beats him.
Canelo will fold him with body shots. Like he will destroy him.
I got Canelo in that one.
Did you see that? Did you see him get wobbled by a couple of shots by Derevyanchenko, and he didn't even land them full like cleanly? Did you guys see that?
I mean, they both got. But they were both putting in shots, though. To be fair.
And that guy came off a 200+ day layoff too. So
yeah, well, I mean, he's not the one. I mean, Jacobs never went down in the fight. Derevyanchenko was the one that hit the canvas.
Yeah, Jacobs was running the whole night, you know.
Come on, no, you get out of here. He was running the whole night.
Yeah, he wasn't. Derevyanchenko needs a better coach. He didn't go to the body till round 5. Like first five rounds, he didn't even touch the body. You know, he's a better coach like Robert Garcia, maybe.
He was not. He was not running in that fight.
I don't know. What's the next boxing card? Is the PBC December card? What do we have next? Bivol Barrera or Bivol Pascal, right?
Yeah, coming up in November, I guess.
What's the point of that fight? I mean, Pascal, he's washed up in Bivol. I mean, when is he going to get a big fight? What's up with that?
Well, that's what's funny is that it was funny on the telecast last night. Jim Lampley brought it up, and he says, "Does Pascal have a chance in this fight?" And Roy Jones said, "You know, he used to coach Pascal, so he says, oh yeah, he has a chance." And what kind of fights are you guys putting on when you're asking that question? You know, I mean,
Roy said Machado's opponent Evans, who used to promote, had a chance too before he got knocked out. Roy coaches some weird ass people. But what do you guys think of Tank? I think Tank versus Mares is on the undercard of Mikey versus Spence. That's what I'm hearing.
What, in February?
Mikey versus Spence is going to be in Texas. Did you guys hear that? They said they have a hold in Texas on the date.
Well, it's not. I mean, nothing's confirmed yet, so we don't know. But
that's why he said Comey aside. You know, that's why he didn't go through with the first bid. I mean,
we would just like to see Tank Davis fight. Period.
Did you guys see Eddie Hearn finally signed that legendary Brandon Rios? I mean, match from US is flying, guys. I mean, don't they deserve some credit?
Yeah, at least Brandon Rios is fighting. More I could say for Gervonta Davis.
Brandon Rios probably shouldn't be fighting anymore, but okay.
I saw his interviews on Fight Hub. He sounds horrible. Like his words are very, very fucking droopy and shit.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he should not be fighting.
Gabe Rosado and Arias is probably a decent fight. That's all. And fucking Miller is fighting another total tomato can. I don't know what the hell that guy's doing. Fucking fraud ass guy. He hasn't fought anybody. He should be fighting Povetkin or Ortiz, but he's not. He's fighting like total washed up guys. I don't get it.
Well, they tried to give him 45-year-old Fres Akindo, but Akindo turned it down. So.
And Dan Rafael lied and said they offered him $1 million. They gave him $500 and he turned it down. So.
No, I read that on ESPN I read it on ESPN that it was $500,000.
Yeah, he corrected it, I guess. But the last guy he fought, Adamek, he was like 40 plus 2, and now he wants to fight Okendo that's 45. I mean, what the fuck?
I like how Dan Rafael lied. And then he corrected it. Rather than just misquoted or anything like that, he lied.
He got seduced by Eddie. Eddie always brags about like he doubles numbers up. You know?
He was lying, of course. You know, come on. Huh? What was that, Robert?
I said it's special in the South. What can I tell you?
Wow. Robert went deep.
Is Gary Russell versus Leo going to happen? 2019, you guys think?
Wasn't it supposed to happen on the December 1st card? That Wilder card?
I told you it wasn't going to happen, bro. I told you. You were like fantasizing about that fight.
All right, here we go. Hold on. Let me see if I can bring this up here. On Box Rec.
Shut up.
On Box Rec, son. Let's see if we can find this on Box Rec. I can't even find Deontay Wilder on Box Rec.
Hey, Robbie, did you get the zone yet or no?
No, I'm not. No. I'm
not getting it. Dude, they haven't had even one fight on there that is like kind of motivated me to fit my credit card number in there. I mean,
because you're a casual fan.
$40 last night, and I'm like, fuck that shit.
Because you're a casual, son. They're not gonna have. They have like
I gave $40
hardcore fights on there.
To Domino's last night, but I was like, I can't give 10 to the zone. I mean, they're part of the shit. Domino's
spent $40 at Domino's.
Did you get at Domino's? You spent $40. How many pizzas did you buy?
He bought wings.
I just got some pizzas and breadsticks and some wings for some buddies, and that's all.
There you go.
And you had to pay for everything? No one chipped in?
Nobody chipped in, boy.
You're getting ganked. Hope there was some women at that gathering.
You know there wasn't no women at that place.
Do you have any women at that gathering, or was there all dudes?
Give you two guesses. A big sausage fest.
No, we put the sausage on the pizza. We don't have sausage fest over here.
There you go.
God, please.
We have Samantha Kumiko at the house. We have Samantha Kumiko over. You fucking hitters.
Okay, we'll see you next time.
All right, have a good one, Robbie.
All right.
See you guys.
Give him the friggin' hook. $40 at Domino's. What a nut. Well, we got some brownies too.
$40 at Domino's. What are we buying at Domino's? Aren't their pizzas like $6 a piece or something like that?
Yeah, he's fucking lying.
2 weeks on Twitter and he gets himself banned. That's
All right.
Go ahead.
So as of right now, for December 1st, that December 1st fight, okay? Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury, that's the main event. Co-main, it's got Chris Arreola versus TBA.
Oh, no.
Underneath that, it's got Isaac Lowe versus TBA.
No.
That's it. That's all the fights that are listed on, according to Box Rec. I'm just saying the fights, pretty close, little over a month.
Really, Chris Arreola, really? Oh my God.
No,
Right?
no, that's horrible.
Yeah. So ain't looking good. Ain't looking good.
We're gonna pay like $80 for Chris Arreola.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm impressed.
Jason just said Chris Arreola belongs on the zone. It's insane.
I don't want to see Chris Arreola on my TV again, let alone on a pay-per-view card.
Well,
Champ Ross said, don't forget Chavez versus Angulo. Exactly.
oh, that's on the card. Is that on the card too?
Well, Nacho's saying Ortiz Kaufman is also on the card. Listen, it's not listed. Hey, it's not. If you go to BoxRec, none of it's listed. And typically, BoxRec, I mean, they're pretty good about getting the undercards and everything lined up right now.
Yeah.
So
We'll
I
see.
don't know, man.
It's got to be shaping up. It's got to be shaping up soon.
But it is a month away, so who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I mean,
it's November. It's November this week.
Yeah.
Yes.
Was it Thursday?
November 1st.
Thursday's November. Yeah.
Halloween coming up. We got Halloween coming up, and yeah,
coming up Wednesday.
Yep. So there you go. All right, guys, that'll do it for this edition of Ringside Reporter. As always, you can catch Robert on Twitter at Ringside Robert, or you can call Ringside Robbie's Corner at 917-259-1810. Call him and tell him happy birthday. You can catch Joe Habib on Twitter at JHabib1 and find his YouTube channel at beatingtheoddswithbeeb.com. On Twitter, I'm at Ringside73, and we will see you next week.
Have a good one, everybody.
Now we can go watch the World Series.
That's right, baby. Red Sox all the way.
Hashtag choke.
No, it'll be a Red
Thank
Sox
you for
party.
using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.